Out of all the truck videos that we've done on this channel over the years, nothing compares to what we have in today's upload. This is probably the most unique truck I've ever seen. It's probably one of the coolest ones as well. We have a 1992 Subaru Sambar, and I'm guessing that most of you watching this video have never even heard of this truck. Let's take a look. So these type of Japanese trucks are called K trucks, or K-dosha, which stands for light vehicle in Japanese. So many of the Japanese auto manufacturers made these type of K trucks, like Hyundai, Honda, Suzuki, and so on. But this is a Subaru Sambar. Look how tiny this thing. It has been custom painted in this purple color. A great thing about these trucks is that the bed falls completely flat. Watch this. Open these little hatches right here on this side as well, and voila! So most owners use these type of trucks for, like property vehicles. It's not really something you want to have out on like a major highway or anything like that. We'll demonstrate that here shortly. It's probably the least aerodynamic vehicle I've ever driven. Look how flat it is up front here. And since we don't really have like a traditional hood, the engine is in the back. So it sits right behind this panel right here, and you gotta unlock it to access the motor. But before we do that, I want to give a thanks to LW Automotive, who lent me this car today so I can make a cool video for you guys. This thing is actually for sale, so check their website out if you guys are in the market. There we go, look at that. So what we have here is a 2-liter, 4-cylinder supercharged engine. Now, since it's such a tiny truck, we're not expecting a lot of horsepower, but you might maybe think that it could have 157 horsepower, but that'd be incorrect. It has 57 horsepower. It is by far the vehicle that I've driven in my life that has the least amount of horsepower, but it is a pretty interesting driving experience, which we'll demonstrate here in just a second. It's also in very good condition underneath. Since these are all imported from Japan, were never sold in the US except for to Disney, who got a special contract to my understanding. So they have a bunch of these on their property down in Orlando. I'm not gonna try to sound like some expert on these because I'm not. I just wanted to film it because it is such a unique and cool vehicle, and it's just something different. So since it is a Subaru from Japan, it is right-hand drive, and this is a pretty interesting experience to drive, but it's not as complicated as you might think. Most Sambars are also manual, so this is an extremely rare unit of the Sambar as it is automatic. And before we jump in here, if you open this up, this is actually the brake fluid reservoir right there. Interesting place to have it. So we're gonna jump in here. And for someone my height, you can't pretty much own this truck because it's too small. So I'm driving like this constantly. You can't stretch your legs whatsoever. The seat is all the way back. But we're gonna start it up. So we have the ignition on the right side here. Whoops. I did say the battery was bad. There we go. I don't know what that is. So this is kilometers per hour. There's no tachometer. We have a fuel gauge and then supercharger. Look at that. Now, another somewhat rare option to my understanding on the Sambars is air conditioning, but our tester here today actually has it, and thank God that it does, because it's really, really hot outside. So it's not much to say here. We got, manual windows, the little glove box right there. We got a lot of headroom, but as we said, there's no knee room whatsoever. You gotta be under 6 foot if you want to drive this on a regular basis. By the way, I guess they did a little modification on this thing here and put a Momo steering wheel besides the purple paint, which also looks pretty cool. The door panel here, we got little map pockets. We got a tinted rear window. But let's take it out on the road. And look at this, it has a sport mode. How cool is that? The funny thing is when you hit the AC button, you can notice a big difference. We're probably losing like 5 horsepower, so we're gonna keep air conditioning off. I'm just gonna have to sweat here. Now, since it only has 57 horsepower, you might think that it's super sluggish, and it is, but it actually has better pickup than you might imagine. I mean, it's not quick in any way, shape, or form. But it's not as slow as I thought it was gonna be. It's so crammed in here. Absolutely insane. Are we gonna put it in sport mode? Oh, look at that, downshift, what? Now, since it is right-hand drive as well, I've noticed that I kind of catch myself like starting to gear over in the other lane. I don't know, I'm not used to sitting on this side and being close to the road on, you know, in the right lane. It's just a different experience. And also, since it is right-hand drive, this is not the turn signal. That's the windshield wipers. The turn signal is over here, which was also weird in the beginning. What the hell's going on here? There we go. Dude, that's 60 kilometers an hour. That's like 35. It feels like we're going 90. So you gotta adjust the mirrors manually. And another interesting part is for the passenger side view mirror, you can hardly see it because there's an A-pillar there. So you have to like kind of like lean over. Very different driving experience, man. All right, we gotta gun it. I mean, it's got pickup. It's not super slow. You just definitely don't want to be out on major highways with this thing. With it being so flat up front, I cannot even imagine being in a big car collision in this thing. I mean, you would be flattened. Now, if I was able to fit better in this truck, this would be an awesome project truck. I would actually consider buying this thing and just having fun with it. But I mean, I'm cramping just from driving a few miles in this thing, so it does kind of suck a little bit. Just, you got to be short if you want to own this thing. But it's so unique and so different, and it's freaking supercharged. How cool is that? This thing should be Hellcat swapped and just put the engine like in the bed of the truck. That'd be amazing. They're laughing at me. You get very interesting looks when you're driving around in this thing. It's definitely an eye catcher. I just love things that are different. It's so cool. So I lean my leg up against the window panel here, and my leg hits the lever for the manual windows, and it's just so extremely uncomfortable in here. But still, it is cool. And it's actually a CVT transmission in this thing. Whoa, 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 don't drive out there. I'm like scared to death to crash in this thing. Like I said, you'll be toast, completely flattened. Check out the difference when we're sitting in traffic. If I turn AC on, it's like it wants to stall. I've been trying to get this supercharger light to come on, but I can't figure out how to do it. I guess you got to really stomp on it. I had it up to 80 kilometers an hour, and that was sketchy to say the least. What I've noticed is though that you very quickly get used to driving a vehicle that is right-hand drive. It was only weird right in the beginning, but now I've kind of gotten used to it. It's just that the gear selector is on your left side, which is weird. Turn signal is on your right side, which is also weird. But you do get used to it pretty quickly. People give you such looks. Love it. But there is a reason that most people that own these type of trucks, they use them on farms and or big properties, and not, you know, keep them out on main roads, because it is so slow and you just get laughed at everywhere. But it is practical in its own way. It is very, very, very unique if you live in the US, that is. This is a 5th generation of this truck, and they started making them in the 60s, I think. And they made them all the way up to, I think they might still make them. I have to check on this while I'm editing. But this 1992 version of the Subaru Sambar is very cool. I mean, it's got custom paint, for Christ's sake. So if you guys are in the market, check out LW Automotive. I'll link their website in the description below. They ship vehicles all over the country, so you don't have to live in Pittsburgh. But this was a cool experience. It's so unique. and I love it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for stopping by. If it's your first time and you haven't already and you want to, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.